So hello everyone, I am Melissa from Mission 89 and I'm joined by Ode today, who is a professional football player and she recently became our ambassador at Mission 89. So thank you Ode for joining me today for this interview.
Thank you.
And congratulations as well on becoming our new ambassador. It means a lot to us, so we welcome you on board into Mission 89's team.
Thank you, I'm excited for this journey.
Awesome. So before starting with questions on your career, your background, etc., can you briefly introduce yourself to our audience, please?
My name is Ode. Official name is Ode van Balen, which is my married name. I'm married to a Dutchman, and my football name, which I'm known by, is Ode Fulutudilu, which is a very complicated, long name that I've maintained that within my football world because that's what most people know me by. I'm a professional soccer player for Holland United. I also play for the South African women's senior national team to the World Cup last year, which was an amazing experience. And we're hoping to accomplish more things in the near future.
That's amazing. Thank you. So how does it feel to be an ambassador from Mission 89?
It's exciting. When I was approached concerning the project, I researched it obviously, and I just felt like the organization had a clear insight and clear view of who they were and where they were going and what they wanted to do. And it was an exciting project that I wanted to get on board and to, as little as I can do, to help assist with spreading awareness and spreading, just information concerning the project that the organization does, and some of the risk that many people may not come across.
How did it start, this passion for football?
Passion for football, it started when I was 8 years old. My first ever World Cup was a men's World Cup 1998, which actually happened in France, which France won. Just grew a little bit over the years, and I didn't get my first professional contract until when I was, I want to say 27. Okay. So it came really late. I played in America for 4 years. I went to university there on a scholarship. So that was an amazing experience. And that was sort of like a professional experience because the programs are run very professionally in America and just like so extremely well. I got to grow and I got to experience like so much of America that a lot of people who are even Americans don't get to experience. So which was an amazing adventure, an amazing 4 years. Getting my first professional contract, it was a great relief because I waited for it for a really long time. I have a really trustworthy agent who was patient and who never stopped working on my behalf.
That's amazing because unfortunately agents, it's an issue actually. We talk about it a lot at Mission 89.
Yes, no, definitely. It's really important to have a person who's not just good at heart, but who's professionally has integrity in what they do.
When was the first time that you encountered professional football?
I think throughout university, I've always known about it because it was never really big. Before that, you never really heard much about it as a female.
Yeah.
You hear a little bit, but not enough information. But when I was in universities, I got to hear more about it. I almost signed for a team right after university for a pro team, but it wasn't meant to be because I was being drawn to a different path. But I've always heard about it and never quite knew of how big it was. It has grown a lot, and since maybe my junior year of university, I started being more aware of the professional world, especially in women's football, and I started desiring that it's something that I would like to do because I had waited for so long for it. I think I was with my agent for 2 years until when I received my first contract. I knew it would come at the right time because I was also patient. I was not in a hurry. So because I waited, therefore I got like a really decent team in a decent league that treated me well. So because I didn't rush things and I didn't jump into any single thing that just came along the way, I was patient. And when I did get it, it was the perfect team for me. It was a perfect time. It was a perfect league.
And well, I want to mention here though something that is very interesting and that kind of characterizes who you are is that you have a refugee background.
Yeah.
My question is, what would you tell refugees around the world who are in a similar situation you used to be in and who want to become an athlete, like you, professional football player, or in any other sports? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to never stop dreaming and to not give up, because as a refugee, especially in terms of paperwork, it can be so strenuous and so exhausting. But honestly, if you don't give up, eventually something is going to give in. It took me a long time to get my citizenship, but I just for me, giving up was not an option because I had a vision and I had a dream. So it's really important to have a dream and a vision of where you want to go, which is what will keep you going. Because otherwise, if you don't have those, then it's so easy to just give up and be like, well, this is my life, this is the card that I'm dealt with. It's not always the card that you dealt with, but sometimes it's what you do with the card that you dealt with. So it's really important to just never give up and to set goals and to put things in place to accomplish those goals. And something is going to give in. Even if you don't give up something, a door will eventually open. Maybe not a month or 2 months or a year, maybe not 2 years, but if you don't give up, something will eventually give in.
Okay, so now we're going to talk also about a side project that you have, or we can say that it's becoming a pretty big project. It's your podcast.
Yes.
That you started in March 2020, that is called And She Plays.
Yeah.
And I will let you a bit introduce this and especially tell us what message you hope to deliver through this podcast.
My heart behind it was and is mostly for women's football, to help to grow women's football, because there's a lot of things out there for men, that they do for themselves, for others, and there's just not enough things out there for women. So I wanted to create my own table and invite other women to share their journeys and their stories, and to allow other people, not necessarily just women, but anyone else in the world that is willing to listen, that is willing to come into our world and see what we go through, the struggles, the victories and the failures. And you can learn from that, even if you're not a sports person, even if you're not a woman. So the heart behind it was to give a table to women, female players, and to encourage the young generation, to motivate the current generation in terms of giving them inspirations and tools, what we do as footballers to get to a pro level, and what we do daily, and the kind of things that we go through to make ourselves better. So for them, to motivate them, to give them ideas in terms of, if you want to go here, this is what you got to do in order to get there. So that's basically it, really.
It's great that you use also your platform, because obviously you do have a name in the football world, and it's amazing that you can address things like this through a podcast or even through social media. You have a Facebook for the podcast, so this is truly admirable.
Thank you. I'm just trying to do my part with what I've been given.
So you are really busy with your career as a football player, with your trainings, etc. You are busy with your podcast as well. But what is your next step in life? Do you have a future project or anything?
It's hard. Well, because I'm not going to play football forever, and I'm more the age that's more towards the end of football than the beginning. I would eventually love to retire. The unfortunate thing about women retiring is that when we retire, we don't have the same bank account as men do when they retire. A lot of women, when they retire, they do go back to square one and start all over again. I'm fortunate that I have a degree. I'm playing. I'm able to build around those degrees, build things around, and think about the things that I can continue to do after football. And eventually, I'd love to start a family. I'm not getting any younger. So projects, I always have goals and things and dreams in place. I love dreaming big rather than small, because if I dream big, there's, so what if I don't reach it? At least I dreamt it. Exactly. So there's I'm not a one-minded set kind of person. There are lots of different things that I would love to go into, that I would love to pursue as a person, as a female pro player, as a student, and as a woman.
Actually, you were talking about something interesting, and I wanted to ask you about female football players who do have that issue that the day that they stop playing football, they don't have the same bank account as men. What tips do you have for these women who want to get into that professional football career but are maybe scared of having to stop at a certain age and then having nothing eventually?
No, definitely. We speak about this quite often in our broadcast, which is one of the things that we really speak about very often is to educate yourself throughout your. So if it is possible to go straight from high school into professional career, a lot of Europeans do it. But in that time, to not just allow football to be your only tool that you're doing to educate yourself throughout that time. There are online classes you can take, there are courses you can take, and you have the time. It's not because you don't have the time. So if you don't want to start from point one after you retire, you need to put things in place during your time of playing that will give you a sort of foundation, a platform for you to continue from. Young girls coming from third world countries, I honestly encourage them to pursue going to America and doing the education and football instead of, because they have a different starting point to Europeans. Like, it's really hard for third world countries, Africans, to do that. One, because you're already not getting paid that much, and for you to be paying for your own, which it is possible. It's not impossible, but it's just like, it's really hard to have that motivation and the financial means to be able to pay for those studies, because a lot of times third world countries, your parents don't always have the means to assist you to pay for your studies while you're playing football. It's not impossible. I'm not saying that it never happens. I'm saying that if I would give a third world country girl an advice, I would say pursue your education and soccer. Then once that's done, then the world is your oyster, and then you can play for it. You can still play for 7-8 years after you have your degree. Then it's over. Then you have peace in your heart, knowing that whatever happened with soccer, I have a foundation which I can build from after soccer.
We are already arriving at the end of our interview. We have one question left, though, a very important one. One advice that we would give to a young athlete.
Consistency. I would say it's the number one tool which can separate you from the rest. To be consistent and disciplined in what you do daily. If you want to be an average player, an average athlete, then do what everyone else is doing, which is the average thing. Then you will get an average result. But if you want to do what few people have achieved, have done, then you have to consistently be disciplined and do the necessary things that is required in order to be a better athlete and an extraordinary athlete.
I think it's one of the biggest advice. It's really consistency, and always, once again, come back to aiming always for bigger, better goals. Do you have maybe another little message you would like to give to our audience?
This is a great organization that they know about it. They should spread the word so that people that are in need of the organization assistance will be able to have the contact and the details. The more people know about the organization, the more people the organization will be able to help.
Thank you so much, though. This was amazing to hear you talk about your career, your background, your future goals as well. And congratulations on becoming our ambassador. We are really looking forward to working with you.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.